top 8 to report to the tournament office after bowling. So the top 8 ladies, please report to the tournament office after you've finished your bowling this morning.
All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Bowl TV. The days are winding down. This is Matt Canizaro live, laneside, here at the 2016 QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup in Shanghai. We're behind lanes 17, 18, 19, and 20 here at House Bowling. And our field here at the World Cup now narrowed to the top 24 women and the top 24 men. So things starting to get exciting. The intensity starting to pile on now. Take a look at the standings here in a minute. And for this 8-game block today, we've got all 24 lanes in action. One player per lane, of course, 2 on a pair. So the pace is going to be much different and much quicker. For the ladies this week, there was 3 on a pair. For the guys, it was 4. Now 1. Here we've got our top 2 seeds coming into this round of 24. Brittany Slim bowling absolutely incredibly all week long, outdistancing even the men. She averaged more than 223 over 20 games this week, including a 290 tournament high game, which she shares with Mexico's Ileana Lomelli. Bernie Slim with a 125 pin advantage over Danielle McEwen coming into today's 8 games. Third place on our other featured pair, Nadine Geisler of Germany. She's 45 pins behind McEwen. And then Jenny Wagner of Sweden, 21 pins back, tied with Lisa John of England. So we'll give you the rundown. Bernie Slim, 4470. Danielle McEwen, 4345. Geisler, 4300. Wegner, 4279. Lisa John, 4279. Rebecca Whiting from Australia. Anna Lomelli of Mexico, 4204. And 8th place right now, Lara Posadas of the Philippines, 4154. We'll take a look right now, the difference from 8th place to 9th place. Just 58 pins. The top of the field here, pretty good advantage over 9th place. So for Bernie Slim, nearly 400 pins. Total pinfall for 20 games determined the top 24 who advanced. And now pinfall will carry over. And 28 game pinfall totals will determine the 8 who advance to round robin match play, which will take place tomorrow. So this is not head to head. They're just bowling 8 additional games to determine who the top 8 players will be. Appreciate everybody drop it in. This is going to go pretty quickly. Again, with just 2 bowlers per pair. 8 games will move right along. And the finals of the Battle of the Continents. A special made for Bowl TV event featuring one of QubicaAMF's special scoring features. Just wanted to showcase that a little bit. Show it off for the bowlers at home who might be interested in checking it out at their local bowling center. And then we'll be back for the men's round of 24. 8 games there. Again, will determine the 8 bowlers who advance to round robin match play. That's tomorrow. And then total pinfall, bonus pins included for match play, will determine the top 4 who advance to the semifinals. Will then take the show on the road to a special arena setting where 2 semifinal matches will yield the 2 bowlers who will battle for the World Cup title. And that will take place on Chinese TV. And of course, fingers crossed, everything working properly, we'll have that for you here on Bowl TV as well. So the countdown to the Cup is now about 27 hours away. A long week here in Shanghai. The players bowled 20 games over 4 days, so 5 games a day. Throw in a couple of practice days, and they've had plenty of time to get acclimated to the host city, as well as house bowling, where they've moved across this 24-lane center a dozen times already. Get an idea of the characteristics of the house and get a good look at this 42-foot oil pattern. And the pattern played pretty challenging for all players this week. Maybe not for Bernice Lim. She averaged more than 223. But on the ladies' side, only 10 bowlers in the plus. Means they averaged more than 200. I think we'll see the scoring pace a little bit higher today, as we've got the best of the best. The traffic, the amount of bowlers on each pair is going to affect things a little bit. Also, the less variance in the styles. So whereas the rest of the week we had bowlers of all skill levels playing all different parts of the lane, I think 24 remaining have a pretty good idea of how to find success here. And we'll see the transition a little bit different, with all of them perhaps playing a little more similar here for these 8 games. So again, you're watching Team USA's Danielle McEwen and Bernice Lim. Bernice leading the event, Danielle second on our other pair. Nadine Geisler from Germany and Jenny Wegner of Sweden. Final one in the cut, Sabina Athika of India. She's coached by Andrew Frawley. Standout from Australia. And Sabina averaged 186.5. Snuck in there during the final games. There was some shuffling, even down to the very last frame. And Joey Yip from Hong Kong just missed the cut. Strike out in the 10th frame. Could have guaranteed herself a spot. She would have been in by a stick. With 3 strikes in the 10th, she would have tied with Sarah Young of New Zealand. And Joey unable to strike out. Sabina on the other end of the bowling center did whatever she had to. And she got in and grabbed the final spot here in the round of 24. But those players are going to have a whole lot of work to do. Quick calculation right now from 8th place to 24th. It's a difference of 424 pins. Not saying it's impossible, but sounds like those down toward the bottom of the top 24 bowling for pride and experience more than anything. Again, this is not match play, folks. We're bowling just 8 games. Done. Total pinfall will be added to the total pinfall from qualifying. And 28 game scores will determine the top 8. So the players will go move lanes after this. Likely one will go one way, the other will go the other way. McEwen struggling a little bit here in game 1. Started with a double, things were looking great, and things just not wanting to fall. Seeing some strings of strikes here in game 1. Again, of course, the top players in the field right in front of us. Jenny Wagner, terrible break on the 3-bagger. Leaves the A-pin. All right, so game 1 coming to a close. To our left, Lisa John, 247 with a spare here in the 10th. Wagner's going to be in the 220s. Geisler trying to get there as well. All right, so as we roll through these 8 games, we'll get the score updates game by game. And again, you can follow the live scoring. There's a link to the QubicaAMF page in the information box below your video window. Check out the tournament page for all the results and information schedule for the rest of the week. Some great background information on all of our players here. Players from 84 different countries competing at this year's World Cup. Here in our featured pairs is Wegner finishes with 222, Geisler 224. Our leader, Bernice Lim, a clean 196 with the McEwen now with the last 4 can get 210. So pick up a few sticks on Bernice, and well, 16 games of actual score plus 8 games of bonus pins. Could make things interesting. Make the top 8, but my big picture and a trip to the arena upstairs for the finals. So 195 for Lim, 210 for McEwen. And we will get reset. Players on the move. Game number 2 coming up. You're watching live coverage. Top 24 women here at the 2016 QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup. Stay tuned for game 2. And here we are, game number 2 already. This game we are joined by Roberto Rodriguez of Brazil, Liliana Lomeli from Mexico, Shaidatul Hamidi of Malaysia, and Rebecca Whiting from Australia. I have a score update for you in just one moment. All 24 players bowling on this squad, so we'll know exactly what's going on as we count down to the top 8 here. 8 games will be bowled, added to the pinfall from qualifying, and 28 game totals will determine the 8 players who advance to tomorrow. So sit back, enjoy, relax, watch your favorite players. We've got 2-time defending champion Clara Guerrero still in the field. She's got some work to do. She's going to get to the top 8 and try to defend that title one more time. And then we've got 2-time winner Almaguera also still in the field, looking to become the first 3-time women's winner. So great storylines here. Event. We saw Lomeli have an incredible day yesterday. She was kind of just plugging along right around the 200 average mark, which is significantly good this week. That'll get you right around the top 10. But she bowled 1,200 in yesterday's 5-game block, finished with 290. So really turned things on in the end. That's a 240 average for yesterday's. Stay there through today's 8 games. So we saw some great scores. Roberto Rodriguez had a really good day 2 days ago. Now they find themselves here battling to bowl one more day here in Shanghai. Rodriguez looking for her first strike still here. Same with Rebecca Whiting of Australia. She led B squad the first 3 days of the event. Now trying to get comfortable here in front of the cameras. Rodriguez continues to struggle here. Pair opens now. And missing the head pin to the right. Not a lot of time to try and get comfortable now. It's going to be a fast-paced 8 games. Remember, coming up next during the oil break, we'll have the finals of the Battle of the Continents. Just to have a little fun here and showcase some of QubicaAMF's scoring capabilities, as well as a new game called Battle on the Lanes. Some of the players at this week's event were drafted onto teams. Teams were captained by some of the coaches from around the world and split into continents, so Battle of the Continents. The Americas against Europe, Asia, then the Middle East and Africa. The players had a good time. It was just an opportunity to have some camaraderie and something a little less intense than World Cup competition. We'll have the finals of that coming up during the oil break, and then we'll have the men's top 24 on the lanes for 8 games, narrowing down the men's field to the top 8. So another long day of bowling here at Hal's Bowling. Be a little bit quicker and a little more intense with a lot on the line. On the men's side, China's Wang Hongbo trying to become only the 2nd player in history to win the World Cup on his home soil. Last time was 1981. But Hongbo and his spinner release leading the way here for the men. Lane condition a little more challenging this year, and the spinner able to capitalize. That style relies on deflection, so a lighter ball deflects through the pins a little bit rather than driving straight through. And it helps with the pin carry and tends to be more effective when the lanes are tougher. China's female representative, Yu Hong, also advancing to the top 24, so we should hopefully see her come our way to get a look at China's finest here in our final 8 games. Four-9 split for Lamelli. And now looking around here in game 2, just from where I'm sitting, I see a whole bunch of red circles on the scoreboards and not a lot of strikes, down a few pairs. Jenny Wegner of Sweden, 6 frames, no strikes. Japan's Urano, 7 frames, no strikes, and looks like 3 or 4 opens. So that pair looking tough down there. All right, so scores coming back around. We'll take a look here in just a moment. Bernie Slim, a far and away leader. Canada's Felicia Wong starting this game with the front 8 down on the low side. Keep an eye on that. Here in our featured pairs, Rodriguez still looking for her first strike. .21 game totals. Bernice Lim, 46-65. Danielle McEwen, 45-55. So she cuts that lead now to 110. Lisa John close behind after a big first game, 45-26. Nadine Geisler, 45-24. Annie Wegner, 45-01. Rebecca Whiting, 44-29. Ileana Lomelli, 44-20. So pretty close. They're in the top 8. Lara Posadas from the Philippines, 43-43 in the 8th spot right now. And then 44 pins back, Lamont Santoso of Indonesia, 42.99. Roberto Rodriguez in 10th at 42.07 and going the wrong way right now. So Rodriguez 136 pins out of the top 8 right now and without a strike here in game 2. I'm going to take a quick walk and take a look at Felicia Wong. I'll be right back. Right now, enjoy some of the best in the world here at the QubicaAMF World Cup here in 2016. All right, folks, no 300 for Felicia Wong. She actually had the front 7 and then a split. So she right now coming into this game, is 17th. So it'll be a nice surge for her here. But, gonna need 3 or 4 more front sevens to make a run here. Claire Guerrero, 16th. Almost 300 pins out. Alma Guerra, 14th. So time running out for our 2-time champions and for Roberta Rodriguez. Trouble here in game 2. Scheidottel finishes with 211. Whiting 193. Again, Whiting holding in 6th position. Top 8 looking pretty good. Top 9 really. So with Rodriguez struggling, a few players just outside the top 10 who can step it up and make a run. But definitely the top 5 or 6 should feel pretty good right now with 6 games to go. China's Zhang Yuhong, 13th. Rodriguez gets her first strike in the 9th frame. Looking to finish strong. Great shot. And Lamelli can get to 216 still. And she is 7th coming into game 2 here. Rodriguez, last 4, 166. Definitely not out of this. 6 games to go. It's based on what we saw from Lamelli and Rodriguez over the last couple days. And we're familiar with them, of course, being from the American Zone, PabCon. We saw them at Cali, Colombia just a few weeks ago. All right, so game 2 over. Players on the move. Top 24 remain. All 24 lanes in play. They're going to move across the house here for the 8 games. right, so 6 games to go. We'll make a cut to the top 8. Clara Guerrero, 2-time defending champ of Colombia. Got some work to do here. And Shaidal Hamidi. And to our right, Krista Paulanen of Finland. And we're joined again by Rodriguez from Brazil. Chatted with her on the bus on the way here, and very appreciative of the fact that I can say both Rodriguez and Brazil with no trouble. So here at the World Cup, 84 countries represented. Bound to get one mispronounced every once in a while, but hard to mess up those two. And just to recap for the week, we started with 63 women. Now down to the top 24 after 20 games of qualifying. On the men's side, 81. Whittled that down to 24. They'll be back on the lanes this afternoon. So a big day here. Pressure packed for sure, especially for those out in the distance trying to make it to the top 8. And then once you get there with bonus pins, I think could get really exciting, because 8 then will become 4. Then we have here with 24. Keep you updated scores and how things with us at House for the World Cup this week. Job, despite for most a pretty significant language barrier. I think bowling being a universal language, and simple things like the food menu having pictures on it definitely makes it much more comfortable for bowlers from all over the globe. So taking a look at the standings, Danielle McEwen chipping away at Bernice Lim's lead, and that's what she talked about last night when they got done. Bernice bowled really, really well, and nobody was going to catch her. But for Danielle, things clicking at the right time. And she said she bowled so well the first day, it was kind of misleading. So she came in maybe with a little bit of a false confidence on day 2, thinking that everything she saw and had on day 1 was going to be there. And when it wasn't, it was more of a mental struggle than it was anything physical, as they try to figure out, you know, the lane transition, the right combination of ball and surface, and making the right moves. So once she started focusing on the right things, she said she felt much better yesterday. You know, physically, it was never the issue. It was more about having your head in the right place, focusing on what was relevant and what she could control. And Danielle had a great day yesterday. And now the plan was to do the same thing, make the right moves, make them fast, and chip away, as she said, at Bernice's lead. And she has done that, outscoring her today 437 to 371. So making up 66 pins in 2 games already. And for the rest of the field, Lisa John moving into third position. So total pinfall right now, Bernice Lim 48-41. McEwen 47-82. Lisa John 47-20. Nadine Geisler 47-14. Jenny Wegner after a 169, 46-70. Rebecca Whiting 46-22. Ileana Lomelli 46-15. And 100 back, Lara Posadas from the Philippines 45-19. So right now, top really good here. Just outside the number, Sharon Lamont Santoso of Indonesia is at 44 now. So 121 pins out is Shaidatul Hamidi of Malaysia. Then obviously the numbers increase from there. Roberta Rodriguez after the 166, which turned out much better than it started. She's 146 out of 8th place right now. China's Zhang Yuhong. Felicia Wong tied for 13th. Two-time defending champ Claire Guerrero here is 16th, 213 pins out of 8th with 6 games to go. There's Rodriguez crossing over for the 3-bagger just in time. Krista Polonen has fallen to 17th place. So high for the day. Looks like it is Shaidatul, 448. Nope, no, I am wrong. Felicia Wong, 241, 244. 485 to get to 13th, so. Again, traffic a little bit different today, just 2 players on each pair. Off the top of my head, it's possible that Felicia might be the only left-hander in the field, so she's got the whole left side to herself. Certainly don't think we've seen any on the high side so far through 2 games. So interesting situation there. And for the righties, traffic pattern a little different. A little less variance in how the lanes are being played with many styles over the course of the week, but just the more elite players here later on. Polonen doubles up, so she's 3 out of 5, but a pair opens. And Guerrero trying to triple up, can't do it, 10 don't go. Good shot from Claire, but 10-pin being stubborn today. Thanks everybody for being here. You're watching live coverage of the 2016 QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup here in Shanghai. 24 women remain. They're bowling their 8-game block today to cut the field down once again to the top 8 here at House Bowling. And Shardadal Hamidi would love to be there. She is 10th coming into this game. .237, .211 so far today. 121 pins out of 8th place right now. See if I can adjust the screen here to get you the ticker, tell you who's in what place. Make things a lot easier for you guys and for me. frame here on our featured pairs. Polinen 152. Rodriguez bounced back to 14 with a strike here on the fill. Hamidi. Good time for a 5-bagger. And Guerrero plugging along clean through 9. Wash out in the 10th. Running out of time for the 2-time defending champ. Bit of an up and down today for the players. Nadine Geisler for Germany. Need to double in the 10th to get to 180. She is up there in the standings. Geisler is 4th right now. .213 for Rodriguez. Scheidadl doubles in the 10th. Claire gives the washout a run, but finishes with 188 here in game number 3. And Hamidi 243. Terrific effort here in our featured pairs. And we'll get ready for game 4 coming up. Gonna adjust a few things, and we'll be right back after some adjustments. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching live coverage of the 2016 World Cup. And we're back here at House Bowling, working our way towards the halfway point of today's 8-game block already. This is game 4. And we mentioned the separation in the field as each game progresses. Bernice Lim still on top, but Danielle McEwen picking up another 20 pins. So she is right on her heels after 3 games today. So the lead was 125, but little by little, it's now 39 pins. So this could be the game. Lisa John close behind, having a good day. 685 for the first 3. She is 16 pins behind McEwen. Nadine Geisler of Germany, despite the 171, still hanging on to 4th position, 48.85. Jenny Wegner, 48.51. Rebecca Whiting turning it around, 215. She's at 48.37. 10 pins back is Lomeli, 48.27. And then 117 pins between 7th and 8th. But Lamont Santoso creeping her way into the top 8 with a little help from some struggling players. She's 8th at 47.10. Lara Posadas only 11 pins out now. She's fallen out of the top 8 for the first time all week. High score of the day so far. Shaidatul Hamidi of Malaysia. She's got her in 10th place. 69 pins now out of 8th. Guerrero is 16th, 216 pins away. Almaguera 1 spot ahead of her, 201 pins away. Again, with 5 games to go, this is game 4 of 8 right now. Here in our featured pairs, we have India's Sabina Athika, Miku Aranu from Japan, Tanya Kuba of Switzerland, and Christina Sanz of Catalonia. All these players 18th place or lower at this point. Arrow a pair to our right. Top part of the field. Now crossing to the low end of the center here at House Bowling. There's 24 lanes split down the middle by a center aisle of sorts. So it's almost like 2 separate bowling centers. 1 through 12 and then 13 through 24. 23 and 24 in play for the first time this week. Obviously we have 24 players, so 1 per lane here at House Bowling. And you can see the score ticker now underneath the scoreboard in your video screen, so you can see what's what. Early bedtime back home in Eastern time zone. See Daryl Carrion making an appearance from Brings News. It appears that Lucas Wiseman, former associate here on Bowl TV, has rolled his first 300 game. Lucas, a lifetime bowler. Previously a high game of 299, rolled in 2005. And now, married life has been good to Mr. Wiseman. He rolls his first 300 back home in Indianapolis. Congratulations, sir. Hopefully you're celebrating and not watching Bowl TV. Lucas, a World Cup veteran. All right, right, 2 pairs to our left. Shai Dottle from Malaysia. 4 strikes in the first 5 frames. She's gonna make her move. Looking to creep into the top 8 now. With 5 games to go. And on the leaderboard, McEwen has indeed chipped away at Bernice Lim's lead. That number now 39 pins, so at this pace, it'll be in the next game or two, McEwen could surpass the leader. Shai Dottle still striking, down on 13 and 14. She's got 4 in a row now. Trying to make it 5, and she does not. Game 4 reaching its halfway point. Again, of these 4 players, I think they're all a little too far back of making the top 8. Been a pleasure meeting and talking to players from so many places. 84 total countries represented, 81 men, 63 women. And this time tomorrow, we'll be just about ready to determine the top 4 in each category for the semifinals. All right, again, we're joined this game by the players from India, Japan, Catalonia, and Switzerland. And we'll get into the 10th frame here on 19 and 20. We've been here all week long, 4 days of qualifying, 5 games per day for each player. 2 squads of men, 2 squads of women. 20 game pinfall totals determined the top 24. And today we've got ladies first. They bowl their 8 games. Got the field to 8. Then the men will hit the lanes. And we'll be back at it tomorrow at 9 a.m. Both the men and women will take the lanes at the same time for 8 games of round robin match play. Bonus pins involved, and then total pinfall will get us to the top 4 in each category for the arena finals. So here's Kova. Putting the finishing touches on a nice effort here in game 4 today. She can get to 232. And Sans, max score 180. Hamidi finishes with 212 for Malaysia. Picked up a few pins, perhaps. Guerrero can only get to 199 in this game. Kuva finishes with 231. Final shot for Sanz. Should be at 178. And now 10th frame underway here on 17 and 18. Urano and Attica. We'll have game 5 coming up next. We're at the halfway point of today's 8-game block. Appreciate everybody joining us. 4 games to go, and then we'll know our top 8 on. All right, here we are now. Game number 5. We're joined again by our friends from Catalonia and Switzerland, Sans and Kuva. And our other pair, New Zealand's Sarah Young and our defending champion, Clara Guerrero. Pulling up our standings right now after 4 games. Bernice Lim still leading away, 52-22. Danielle McKeon's back, 51-71. So 20 pins behind McEwen. Nadine Geisler, 5-0-8-4. Rebecca Whiting, 246 in game 4. In 5th place, 1 pin out of 4th. 5-0-8-3. Liliana Lomelli, 5-0-3-1. Yanni Wegner, 5-0-3-0. And Lamont Santoso, 4-9-0-6. Philippines, Lara Posadas is 36 pins out of the top 8 right now, and Shaidatul Hamidi of Malaysia bowling well today, 9-0-3 for the first 4 games. And she's still 10th, but chipping away as well. 53 pins out now, and then a drop off. China's Zhang Yuhong is 155 pins out of 8th place. At the halfway point today, Clara Guerrero, 214 pins away. Almi Guerra just ahead of her, 211 out of 8th. And we've got Guerrero here on our featured pair, spare 3-bagger. So there's life. 214 pins in 4 games would be a tough, tough task. Top 7 looking really good here with 4 to go. And for New Zealand, Sarah Young, interesting story there. She's got a couple of events coming up in Australia and snuck into the top 24. She was 24th after women's A squad yesterday. And then 24th, 24th, 24th as B squad rolled along and ended up 23rd. So the whole time she had her teammate Sonia Reguera running scores. She was relaxing off in the back and not scoreboard watching too much, sweating it out. But turns out she qualified 23rd and had her team manager on call as they needed to change some squad times now for the event in Australia. So she's here bowling in the top 24, 8 more games. Great feeling to be among the top 24. She's 21st right now, tied for 21st with Christina San, so not going to be making a run at the top 8 here. But as she said, it is 8 games of experience and the opportunity to perform at the World Cup. So a bright side, and 8 games of practice against the best players in the world. Can't argue with that. Just a Simple change of flight, and then she'll be on her way to Australia to continue bowling this week. All right, we've got live scoring still available here at House Bowling. So if you want to check that out, click on the QubicaAMF homepage link in the information box below your video window. It'll take you to the tournament homepage with all the details, standings, live scoring, and more. So you can follow the players down on 1 and 2. Daniel McEwen and Lamont Santoso struggling through 5 frames. 1 strike between them. All right, so Guerrero and Young moving along here. Into the 9th frame, Young working on 4 in a row. Guerrero still can get to the 240s. split for Young. 4-7-9. Guerrero unable to strike. All right, 10th frame here on 17 and 18. Kuva can get to 177. And Sans. 230 max score here. Catalonia. .246 for Krista Paulin and a couple pairs to our left. She may be too far down at this point, but still great effort here. This is game 5 of 8 here in our round of 24. Appreciate everybody tuning in from around the world. Nearly 11 p.m. in the Eastern time zone. Claire knew that shot was bad off her hand. Didn't even watch. As a result, a 4-6-7. Frustration for the two-time defending champ, as she will not be advancing to the top 8 with 3 games to go after this one. Right now she is 16th, 214 pins out of 8th place. She would need the best performance of her week. She'll finish here with 200 even. All right, game 6. Coming up next. Does that sound right? That's it. Game 6 coming up next. We'll have our players headed this way. Appreciate you tuning in. Continued coverage of the 2016 QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup. Getting closer to determining our top 8 here in Shanghai. We'll be right back. right, here we are, game number 6 of 8 for the women's top 24 here at the 2016 QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup. House bowling in Shanghai, China. Joining us for this game, it is Jespers from Belgium, Tortensen from Norway, Yu Hong of China, and Athika from India. It's your rundown here. Just a minute, you see scrolling underneath your video scoreboard there. The standings as of right now. All right, taking a look at the standings. Bernice Lim and Danielle McEwen both struggling in game 5. Lim 168, McEwen 165. Lim with a slim lead of 53.90. McEwen 53.36. Lisa John is right there, 53.34. Rebecca Whiting having a nice few games. Moves up to 4th place at 52.89. Nadine Geisler of Germany, 52.53. Annie Wegner, 52.31. Ileana Lomeli, 52.11. And now, jumping up 2 spots into 8th place, Shaidatul Hamidi of Malaysia. Great day today, 11.32. She's high on the day by a bunch. And she has found her way into 8th place. 50.82, 1 stick ahead of Sharon Lamont Santoso. Sharon a couple pairs to our right. Has 65 in the 4th, no strikes here in game 6. Laura Posadas of Philippines, 50.49, 33 pins out, and then a significant drop off. Yu Hong of China is 11th, 156 pins out of 8th place. So with 3 games to go, it's looking like we've got a 10-player race for 8 spots here. Belgium's Jespers in 23rd place right now. Torstensen in 19th. And Athika snuck into the cut last night, getting some great experience here. She is 24th overall with 3 games to go. So this game, Bernice Lim down on 1 and 2. McEwen for Team USA is on 5 and 6. You can follow along on the live scoring. But looking across the high end of the center here, not a whole lot of strikes as we try to navigate this 42-foot oil pattern at house bowling. This is Matt Canizaro, been live here all week. 4 rounds of qualifying and now down to the top 24 women. And while we have a chance, let's talk about the men. They're coming up next. China's Wang Hongbo, trying to make history at this year's World Cup and become the second player to win the event on his home soil. Last time that happened was 1981. Hongbo leading the way, averaging 212.35. He is followed by Martin Larsson of Sweden, Petteri Salonen from Finland, Jan Korczak of Russia, Sam Cooley of Australia rounds out the top 5. Team USA's Marshall Kent is 7th coming into today's 8 games. And it took an average of 196.6 to make the top 24. We'll have the guys on coming up at 12:30 p.m. local time here in Shanghai. That's just after midnight for you guys back in the Eastern time zone. So we'll know our top 8 ladies here very shortly. And then we'll get ready for the guys. Back at it tomorrow, bright and early, 9 a.m. here in Shanghai, 9 p.m. as you start your weekend back in the Eastern time zone. So we look forward to spending some time with you here on Bowl TV as we wrap up the 2016 World Cup. Been a nice run here, and we appreciate all of the support throughout the week as we narrow the field. Shot there by Thorstensen. Again, 84 countries represented, 63 players on the women's side. All right, 10th frame underway on 19 and 20. Yu Hong of China. Research indicates that this is the first time in history both the players from China qualified for the top 24 in the same year. And what a time to do it here on their home turf at House Bowling. Yu Hong can get to 222 this game. Attica finishing strong. Three-bagger, one more to 182. And our other pair about ready for the 10th frame. Jespers will step up first. 199 max. Torstensen can get to 180 here in game 6. So 2 games to go, and then we'll know who our top 8 will be. It's looking pretty clear though, as there is some separation right now. I'd say a 10-player race for the 8 spots. Bernie Slim holding a lead over Danielle McEwen and Lisa John. 4th, Becca Whiting, Nadine Gissler. Germany is 5th. Jenny Wegner 6th. Lomeli 7th, and Shaidal Hamidi is 8th, but Lamont Santoso and Posadas still in the mix. We'll get a little clearer picture after these scores for game 6 come through. Of course, we'll do the math when game 7 concludes here in just a few minutes. So final shot coming up here in game 6. Heidi Torstensen of Norway will wrap it up with a 4-pin. We will have game 7 in just a minute. Couple pairs still going. Players will head our way, and we will inch closer to the cut to the top 8. Thanks for joining us here, folks. This is Matt Canizaro live in Shanghai. 2016 QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup resumes in just 1 moment. And here we are in game number 7 of our 8-game block today. The picture becoming much clearer of who our top 8 will be here on the women's side with 2 games to go. Waiting on the email with the latest standings, but you can see scores scrolling through on your monitor there. Check the email box. This game, we are joined by the players of Canada, China, Indonesia, and Belgium. Danielle McEwen of the United States closing the gap just a little bit on Bernice Lim there, picking up another 11 pins. So right now they are separated by 43 sticks going into the last 2 games. Lisa John of England close behind. Beck Whiting of Australia is 4th. Nadine Geisler of Germany 5th. Jenny Wegner, Sweden is 6th. Liliana Lomeli from Mexico is 7th. And Shai Dottle Hamidi of Malaysia just blowing them away today. 1388 for 6 games. And she is 8th. Getting a little more comfortable in the top 8. She now is 73 pins ahead of Lamont Santoso here in our featured pair. Shai Dottle slowly climbing her way up the standings with a great day. She's not here on the high side of the center, so try to track her down on the live scoring. See if she can chase down Lomeli. Shai Dottle, 49 pins back. 90 pins out of 6th right now. Defending champ Clara Guerrero up to 12th. Still 220 pins out of the cut. China's Yu Hong. He's 190 pins out in 11th place. So again, looking like a 9-player race, possibly 10, as Posadas just 107 out with 2 to go. We're watching game 7 of 8 here. The ladies top 24 at the World Cup 2016. After this, we'll have the finals of the Battle of the Continents, a special made for Bold TV event, showcasing some of QubicaAMF's scoring capabilities, some fun games that they can do on the scoring consoles, and then we'll have the men coming up. That's at 12:30 local time, just after midnight in the Eastern time zone. So a little more than a game and a half left, and then we will know our top 8 for tomorrow's round robin match play. And down on the end pair, here 23 and 24, Bernice Lim is not interested in anybody catching her today. She's got a spare 4-bagger to start game 7. Right now she has been fighting off Danielle McEwen all morning. Lisa John also giving chase. But Lim finally had enough, and she is piling on the strikes. Lim shooting just 11.33 today. She's actually low among the top 8 right now. Shaidal, of course, the high with 13.88 for 6. Bernice Lim 11.33, but still on top of the standings. 43 pins ahead of Danielle McEwen. McEwen right now on lanes 7 and 8. No strikes through 4 frames. Game 7, finale coming up in just a few minutes. Now things turned quickly for Lim. She's working on back-to-back open frames. Down on 23 and 24. However, McEwen has 70 in the 5th. Down on 7 and 8. So it'll take a huge effort in game 8 to catch Bernice at this rate. But the next goal after making the top 8, obviously, is to keep an eye on the top 4. So being comfortably in the top 4 going into tomorrow will be good for the Juan Santoso, 73 pins out of 8th place. But this game not going well. Let's try to check in on Shaidal. So Hamidi not bowling awesome this game, but she'll pick up some pins on Sharon. Lighten it up here in game 7. Shouldn't see too much movement. Just kind of winding down. Many of the players know their days are done. And another tough split for Sharon. She's just hanging around just outside the top 8, but this game could do it for her. Spare converted, so that'll put her in the 160s. Jesper still can get to 192. Alicia Wong working on an all spare game here on 17 and 18. China's Yu Hong. Still a chance at 257. She is 190 out of 8th place with 2 to go. Saidata will be right around 200. Becca Whiting in the 170s. McEwen might get to the 170s this game. A lot of red circles across the live scoring this game. Bernice Lim will pick up a few pins here going into the final game. And I expect we'll have our top players nearby for the finale. Don't believe it'll be too dramatic. There's the top 8 looking real good with some separation. .162 for Lamont Santoso. Alicia Wong for Canada, 9 frames, 9 spares. Here's Yu Hong in the 10th, 256. She leaves the 4-7. Yuhong will be in the 230s. Now Felicia looking for her first strike here in game 7. That seems about right. So the way things normally would work is she would spare this and strike on the fill, of course. Yuhong finishes with 235. Spare for Felicia, so here comes the strike. It's almost guaranteed bowling karma. On the fill, all spare, 178. Coming up, we'll know our top 8 here in just a minute, if not soon, on the standings. And here we are at the finale. Friday high noon here in Shanghai. Final game for many of our competitors at the 2016 QubicaAMF Bowling World Cup. Our top 8 looking pretty decided here. Bernice Lim leading the way, and her lead growing by a bunch over Danielle McEwen there in game number 7. Lisa John, 3rd place. Behind McEwen, followed by Rebecca Whiting, Yenny Wegner, Nadine Geisler, Ileana Lumelli, and Shai Dottle Hamidi. The Monsantoso, 112 out right now. Laura Prasadis, 148, and Yu Hong from China, 156 back. So if I was going to guess, I would say we see our top 8 right now. Shai Dottle, the number, and bowling very well today. Not even sure she can get enough to catch Lomelli in 7th place at this point, but I think that would be our closest thing happening right now. I don't believe anybody outside of the top 8 will be sneaking in here. All right, so sorry about that. As we're winding down here again, it looks like our top 8 is pretty settled mathematically. We're joined now by Lauren Dugan from Northern Ireland, correct? I don't want to insult anybody or make any political mistakes there with Ireland and Northern Ireland, but welcome.
Thank you.
Congratulations first on making it to the World Cup. I know a pretty big honor, I would think, to be able to represent your country at such a great event.
Yeah, so particularly coming from a small country as well, to come here and be able to compete in the world stage is such an honour for us because there's not many tournaments that we get out on a world stage as well. So just to make it to the World Cup, I was happy, but then to finish 29th, which is our best performance in a very long time as well, meant a lot too. So it's been a good week so far.
All right, well, you've had a chance to, I'm sure, enjoy a little bit of Shanghai. I would go out on a limb and say it's a little bit different than Northern Ireland, but with the 5-game blocks each day, plenty of time to get out and about, as well as meet bowlers from 83 other countries, which has to be pretty neat too. Anything stand out for you this week, whether it be inside the bowling center or out and about?
Yeah, I think, well, culture-wise, it's totally different to where we come from. So, even walking down the street, there's loads of motorbikes and stuff, so you have to be careful you don't get run down when you're crossing the road because you don't hear them. In the bowl itself, I think it's a bit different to other World Cups I've been at. There's not that much room behind the lanes for starters, so I think it's been quieter in the bowling centre. Usually, there's a lot of chanting and supporting going on, whereas this week it's been a bit quieter until today, so it's been totally different. But I like the way the World Cup it does it. You have the one good bowler bowl by themselves, so everybody has an opportunity, whether they're from a small country as well, to be able to compete with the bigger names that are out there.
All right, so you had a long format and a lot of time to throw shots and maybe even learn a little bit from some of the other players. And anything special as far as your performance and the experience itself? Does anything stand out for you that you can take home and maybe use to work on and come back stronger next year and improve on that 29th place performance?
Yeah, so I've played 2 World Cups before where I finished near last, and then I put a lot of effort in my game during the past 3 years. So to finish 29th, I was delighted with, but definitely there's a good few things I can work on. My feet, for starters, to try and get even more pace in the ball. So I have the Commonwealth Championships coming up in 5 weeks' time in South Africa, so I'll be working and putting in what I've learned this week into that, and hopefully a better performance coming up next year, hopefully.
All right, so it looks like our top 8 is settled. As a bowling fan, I assume you like bowling and like watching bowling when you can. So probably a lot of familiar names you've seen on TV and YouTube. And
yeah.
So now that we're getting down to the exciting portion of the event, do you have a favorite in the top 8? Anybody you think's gonna go all the way?
I think Bernie Slim, you can't look past her. She's been dominating most of the week. Lisa John as well from England's looking really strong, and I know that she's basically retiring now, so it'd be nice to see her pick up the win before she retires. Canada was looking strong as well, and she's fell away a bit today, but she's good a lot. It's good to see the women's bowling again, back being strong.
So speaking of that, we've seen a great international representation on the Professional Women's Bowling Association. 25 countries represented at the Queens, which is a major, and then throughout the year, different countries coming in and out. Any plans for you to kind of work up towards that and make your way over to the U.S.?
Yeah, well, hopefully. So I'm 30 in 3 years' time, so the plan is there's going to be a group of us come over to compete in the USBC Queens, hopefully. So that's the goal. But because we have to self-fund all our country representations, it's obviously difficult financial-wise. So it's trying to get fundraising and supporters behind us at the minute so we can make the trip over to America, because obviously that's how we can develop our games even more.
All right, well, of course, coming to events like the World Cup and improving each time, definitely a step in the right direction for you. And glad this week sounds like a pretty good experience. And now we're going to fast forward to the top 8 round robin match play tomorrow. So the format continues to develop here. And then I don't know if you've been to the arena portion yet, but checking out the 2 lanes, that's going to be a pretty cool setup. I know for the 4 players on each side who make it, definitely potentially a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and for many a stepping stone. But now that you turn from competitor to spectator, what are your thoughts on just looking around and seeing this year's World Cup?
I think I was up in the arena there this morning for the Munster Match competition that was going on. I think whoever makes the finals is going to be one of the best finals World Cup seen. I think there's going to be 1,000 people coming to support it, which is really good to get that support behind bowling, which it deserves. I think the atmosphere is going to be phenomenal tomorrow, as it always is in the finals. So I expect the bowlers to up their games even more. So it'll be exciting for everybody watching home as well to get behind their bowlers.
All right, now as a competitor, we've got the long format, 20 games of qualifying before the first cut. Another 8 games here, and a lot of work to do for the players down in the teens and the 20s to work their way up. We saw the top 8 pretty strong coming in today and staying pretty steady. But as a competitor, at this particular event, again, 20 games compared to like a World Championships with 6 games per event. Which type of format do you prefer?
I actually have preferred 20 games this week. I think because the lanes played more tricky as well, it meant everybody still stood a chance. So it wasn't like after the first game, if you weren't shooting lots, you were out of it. You knew you could make the ground up. I think when it comes to the final though, and we want to get more public support behind it, what we've done back home is we set up with this small community called Evolve Bowling. So we have 6 games qualifying, and then in the finals we play like a 9th and 10th frame shootout over 5 legs. So it's the best of whoever gets the best of 5 so far, and it's a good way to shorten the format and also get the public behind it. So back home we've seen a lot of success with it, and now we have a lot of the public now wanting the bowl because they like that short snappy format. So I think it's something the World Cup could look at as well, is to try and shorten the format to try and get the local support, because I know I expected a lot more of the Chinese public to come in this week and support it. I think it's been a bit strange, so maybe that's something that could be looked at in the future.
All right, well, definitely good support here from the local volunteers in the bowling center at House Bowling. The format for the finals changing a little bit this year, going from the 3-player stepladder to the 4-player shootout, which will be a knockout style semifinal. So the top seed will take on number 4, and then 2 and 3 will face off, and the 2 winners will meet for the championship match. Again, a one-of-a-kind venue upstairs in the arena, 2 lanes all to themselves with 1,000 of their closest bowling fans and friends, of course. Should be relatively exciting, and we're getting awfully close to finding out who those 4 players are going to be. We're about 3 frames away from solidifying our top 8, saying goodbye to the other 16 players, and getting ready for tomorrow's round-robin match play. Coming up next, we have the Battle of the Continents. I believe it'll be on both sides, the Americas against Europe, and just another opportunity to showcase some of what QubicaAMF has to offer. A pretty neat scoring system. The consoles available in 700 bowling centers around the world have some features that most people don't even realize. Again, we'll see the Battle of the Lanes, it's called, and then Lauren, you got to see a presentation upstairs today about some of those features and some of the other things. Can you talk about some of the things you've learned, I guess, about QubicaAMF, and this event, of course, being a showcase for not only their bowling centers but also their scoring systems?
Yeah, so we would have BSX in one of our bowling centres back home, but even just for being here, I didn't realise half of what a system can do. So the Monster Mash competition that was on this morning, where bowlers have to knock down so many pins to try and match to build the monster, it was a really good idea, particularly for kids' parties. It'll get young kids interested more in the sport. Again, with the BSX, where you can follow your score on Facebook as well, is another good way for bowlers to follow their teammates as well, but also for the public to get behind it and know that bowling is out there and the World Cup's happening, for instance. So it's definitely a really good system, and I think it's the best thing that's happened to bowling for a long time. It's the new scoring system.
I had a chance to talk to bowlers from different countries this week, and it sounds like the situation is pretty consistent everywhere. Is that all the bowlers, especially the elite players at this level, working very hard to bring bowling into the public spotlight and get it the attention it deserves, and perhaps help it be a little more understood by the general public. And that's part of the reason with the special games and the scoring, just to get people interested and draw them in, such as the birthday parties did back in the old days before all the fancy technology. But anywhere from Ethiopia to Northern Ireland, our top bowlers out there working hard to bring the attention to the sport, and we'll continue to do so. And any thoughts on how this experience, you'll take it back home and share it with the folks in Northern Ireland?
Yeah, so I would be the media person for our federation. So this year I've been putting a lot of work into our Facebook page, Twitter pages, Instagram. I also do a monthly magazine. It's, it used to be 4 pages, it's now 25 pages. It's distributed worldwide. It's an e-magazine. I print copies of it as well. It goes in the bowling centres. I hand it out to the non-bowlers, and it's just basically everybody, if they can spread the word. Like, even when I was in work and I was saying I made the World Cup, it's just putting the knowledge out there that you do bowl and this is what it's like to come, and it's just helping spread the word more about bowling. So every opportunity that you have, just say what you do.
All right, well, we are winding down here our final frames of the round of 24. In just a moment, we'll have the official scores and know who our leaders are going to be heading into tomorrow. It looks like Brittany Slim might hold on for one more day, but Danielle McEwen has been trying to track her down all day long. Just doing some quick calculations here, and as our players get done, we're seeing definitely a roller coaster for many of our competitors, going from lane to lane, pair to pair, and both sides of the house. What kind of week did you have as far as consistency, and maybe just some of the things that you encountered that were troublesome, and the ways that you worked through those?
Yeah, I think the first day played completely different to how we expected it, just from the unofficial practice. The lanes down this end where the live stream are were definitely, I think, played a lot harder than the lanes up the other end. The lanes up the other end seemed more slick, whereas down here they seemed more dry. But each day the lane seemed to open up more, so it was making the right choice and taking a risk and, you know, making that ball change when you had to, and believe that it was the right choice to make. But it was nice. It was a tough pattern, but I think it was the right decision that they made this year.
I'll say, you said you bowled the World Cup a few times already, sometimes traditionally known for a higher scoring pace. This year, a premium on shot making. Spares very important. Players shooting a whole lot more spares than they're probably used to. And now, that said, it sounds like you appreciated the challenge. And based on that, anything you saw, any weaknesses that you need to go home and work on over the next few months?
Yeah, well, I think my footwork's one of them, slow down my first 2 steps. My spares were good this week, which I was happy about, but it's just, I suppose, you know, learning more, learning how to play more lines, getting the pace behind the ball, making the right moves, feeling comfortable that you can do it, making the right ball choice. So it's learning even more about your equipment and how the lanes break down as well is a big part of it.
All right, well, a terrific learning experience. We are glad to have you here. Congratulations again on being at the World Cup. That is going to do it for our round of 24, folks. We're going to reset here for a minute, get ready for the Battle of the Continents, and then coming up at scheduled for 12:30 local time, the men's round of 24. So we want to thank Lauren Dugan from Northern Ireland for joining us here in the booth, and we'll be here the rest of the way. Tomorrow afternoon, we'll know our World Cup champions. Thanks again for joining us, folks. We're going to reset and come right back. Lauren, thank you again.
Thank you.
And perhaps we'll see you next year at the World Cup at a location to be disclosed tomorrow evening. So, folks, appreciate you stopping in. We're going to step away, and we'll be back in a few minutes.